Hello, my coolest of kids. How is everybody doing on this wonderful Wednesday? Personally, your buddy Rob, doing quite well. Really can't honestly complain. Been very busy at work with a lot of different changes we've been going through. The whole operating system that we were using and transitioning from where the customers' orders and everything comes in and questions everything to an entirely different program. It's been a lot. Especially just coming back from Albany, New York, where we were training a brand new satellite location for my company to get themselves up and running and moving. So, yes, YouTube, I'm very sorry, guys. I've only been doing 1, 2, maybe 3 uploads a week. But hey, I'm still active. I'm still on there, still watching you guys, still enjoying everything. And, I will be back to my normal eventually. But today, I was reading a story. It's a true story. It really did hit home for me. There's been a lot of uprising with people with addiction problems. I'm not just talking about drugs and such. I'm also talking, drinking, things like that. But it's been a big rise in that. And it's actually affected myself and really close to my family and my friends and, people that I went to school with or my sister went to school with who's a few years younger than me, just falling. There's people just dying left and right, and it's a real problem. So I read a story, and it really hit me, and I want to tell it to you. And it's about making probably the hardest choice of this person's life. Not probably, it is. Starts out, there's a mother, and she's sitting looking out a window. It's nighttime, it's winter, but she's happy. But she sits there, and she starts thinking about what she's gone through. Now, she has 2 sons. Her oldest son is named Andy. And then she has a son who's 4 years younger than him, named Andrew. So you got Andy and Andrew. They're both upstairs right now. Andy is now 19. Andrew is 15. Getting ready to have Christmas the next day. But things were not all wonderful and dandy like they are right at that moment. Looking back exactly 4 years from then, she remembers looking out that same window. Waiting for Andy, hoping, dreaming, just wishing that he would actually show up and come on back to the house. Because he had been MIA for 3 days, cops couldn't find him, nothing. After a very, very, very quick drop and spiral down into a drug-infused, addicted world. The first time she'd ever seen him messed up was when she came home early from work one day. What I should tell you is when the boys were young, she actually ended up leaving the father because he ended up stealing all of her jewelry in her drawers, slowly, very slowly, and selling them to get drugs. He had found his way into drugs. He had opened up credit cards and taken out cash advances and all of this behind her back, stealing her good credit because they were married and he was able to open them without her knowing. And by the time she actually realized it, they were over $80,000 in debt and family heirlooms and just, things just gone forever. She actually figured it out one day when they were ready to go out to dinner. And she went to look for a nice big gold hoop earrings and they were missing. And she was going to go file a police report, and he came clean right then and there because he didn't want to go to jail. That ended up spiraling into them divorcing, and then he is in jail, been in jail for 15, 20 years now at that time. Just completely out of the picture for, drug running. Just gone. So, she comes home early from work, going back. And she sees Andy at the kitchen table with his head face down, drool running out of his mouth. And just he's breathing, but he's not really responsive. Now, she is an licensed practicing nurse, so she knows, what was checking in Andy. She calls 911, has them come. They grab him, and they ask her if he does any drugs or anything like that along those lines. She's like, not that I know of. They bring him into the hospital. He's not dead. They resuscitate him. They get him back to some sort of a state of normal. And upon drug testing, they found opiates in his system. Now, opiates are painkillers, pain medicines, heroin, things like that, Percocets, Vicodin, anything like that. Dread just fell through her body, just, oh my God, just like her son. So, he comes back too, and they have a straight talk, and she's asking how he got into this, how'd this happen, what happened, what was going on, and he said, it was just something that his friend had from his mother's cabinet or whatever. All lies. Lies. He had actually been buying it with all the money that he had been saving up from birthday presents, birthday gifts, and Christmas, and everything else. From an older boy that graduated from the high school a couple years before that. The only reason they know that is because he actually got arrested from somebody else, and that was actually ended up spiraling down and finding out that he'd been selling to every younger kid that was at the school. Well, she actually finds out that he's lying because what happens? Oh, all of a sudden, money from her purse goes missing. The Xbox that they had at the time, just up and gone. Oh, somebody must have broken into the house and taken it. Just different things like that. She had a silver forks and knives set that was in the cupboard, and all of a sudden it's gone. So she started making him take drug tests because she just had a funny feeling. He ended up failing. He's failing. She starts making him go to take classes, making him go do different things, making him go do all these different stuff. Next thing you know, it's been 3 years. Keep going through the same process, same struggle, same everything, and the next thing she knows, Andrew, the younger son, is actually gets caught in school with Vicodins in his pocket, and that was it right there. She was done. He was starting to, his younger brother was starting to do the same things as him. So she's sitting there one night, late at night, and it's snowing, waiting in that window, waiting for him to come home. As he comes home, he's now 18. It's been 3 years. She stops him at the door before he even opens it. And she goes, "Are you high?" And he goes, "No, Mom, no." And she looks at his eyes, sees that they're all dilated and everything. They're just crazy looking right now. She goes, "You're not getting in this house. You're not getting in this house until you get some help. And you go and you actually stick to your word and stay to it and do what you need to do and be sober. You're not doing this to your brother as well." He freaked out, lost his mind, absolutely lost it until she threatened to call the cops on him. She wanted nothing more than to just let him in the house and to hold him and take care of him and do what she'd been doing. But it wasn't working. It was not working. She gave him his ultimatum. You are going to therapy, you're going to the 75-day program, and you're going to go get sober. The one thing that he had said he would never do. He would go to the meetings, do everything else that she'd always asked, but he would never do it. He wouldn't go because he said he didn't really have a problem. Well, he said no. Runs off into the dark. You can see his cell phone. He's out at the end of the driveway calling friends. Somebody comes 10 minutes later, picks him up, he's gone. And all she can think in her head is, I hope I get to see my son again. Did I make the wrong decision? What do I do? Anything. Well, she ends up trying to call him. His phone's off. She ends up trying to do all these different things, like trying to recontact him. She can't figure out where her son is. He's 18, though. He doesn't have to tell her where he is. He even calls the cops and like, is he really a missing person or nothing? She finds out a week later that he actually entered a drug rehab program. He does the whole 90-day program and ends up coming back home after those 90 days. She can't believe it when she gets there. He's gained 15, 20 pounds. He looks so healthy. He comes through that door and just sobbing, crying, everything, He didn't even let her go and visit the whole time. They hadn't seen each other. None of this would have been possible if she hadn't have finally put her foot down, finally stepped up, and finally made it happen. Finally made him make that decision. People don't get sober unless they want to get sober. Yes, that is true. But you need to give them a reason to want to get sober sometimes. You need to give them that final push, that final shove, that final result. That, this is it. You're not even going to have a place to come to anymore. You don't have a home. You're gone. Your family's going to be leaving you. So now we flash back forward to that night where it's right before Christmas again, and they're both upstairs. He's 19. It's about a year later now. Still living at home, but that's okay. He has a full-time job. He's clean and everything. And the next morning, she can't wait for them all to wake up and have a Christmas. It's a wonderful story. It's an awesome story. I was reading it, and I just, at the end, I was like, wow, like, that took some balls. I almost just fell down. That took something to make him go and do that for her, and, you know, not knowing if she's ever going to see him again. Sometimes you got to take that hard last step to make something good happen. Positive vibes for a positive life, and always portray the best possible version of yourself. Have a great day.